Okay, welcome back to another Weekend Waffle, and this will be the first one since December time, so it'll be the first since Christmas, New Year, and my birthday, and my 512 subscriber kind of milestone. So there's a lot to cover, and what I'll deliberately not do in this video, I'm not going to talk too much about the subscriber milestone, 512 people plus. I think it's 524 now. And other than just saying, thanks to everyone that subscribed and supported the channel and, made these videos worth doing and, talking to people, community, it's all good. But next week, I'm going to do a silly video as a subscribers kind of special. So what I'll do for this video, I'm going to focus a little bit on collecting, and really this is in part a response to a video by Lactobacillus where he talks about his collection goals for kind of 2014. And the machine that I think I've neglected over the last year, I bought a PC Engine about a year ago, almost to the day. And I bought a few games, the Chase HQ games and a few shooters, but other than that, I think I've not really gotten the most out of the machine. I won't say I don't play it that much, but I think I play my Mega Drive a lot more, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to play on my PC Engine a bit more. So what I decided to do, going back to last year when I did my birthday special, I bought Initial D, and that game was really good. It was a Japanese import, and I thought, well, I'll do the same this year. I'll buy some Japanese imports, and I thought I'll combine it with the PC Engine and import some PC Engine games, so package in the mail. So what I decided to do was have a look around, and I think particularly Japanese games, it's nice to play games that you've never played before, and I think some games you'll buy because of nostalgia, and some games you've recently discovered, but it's nice just to go out and look for games that you often don't know how to pronounce them, you can't read any of the text, but they're good games, and it's nice to do a little bit of research and find these games out. So the one I got was Momotaro Katsugeki, which is, I think, the fifth in the series. It's a platformer game. So what I'm going to do for these games in the box is, I don't really like doing gameplays of games I haven't played before, because it's difficult to do it at length. So what I'm going to do is, at the end of this video, do a really quick, probably 15 minutes of all these games and just show them very quickly, just to see how I get on with them playing them the first time, or not in one case. The other one's Final Blaster, which is a really good shoot 'em up. This was quite expensive when I bought the last few games at Replay. That was really good for buying PC Engine games at the stores, but they're quite expensive, so it was cheap to get them from Japan. And again, Replay. Gunhead. This was the one that I played in 2012, and it was blazing lasers on the TurboGrafx, and I really enjoyed that. And I was sat there with, it was Ninja Bearhug, and he was playing this game, and I looked and I thought, wow, this is brilliant. I'd never seen a PC Engine being played before, and I think that was what planted the seed in my head of, I really should get one of these machines. But when I bought the Japanese unit, I didn't realise that Gunhead, which is blazing lasers, would be so expensive. And I think it's cheaper on the TurboGrafx because it was a packing game. So I managed to get this just as a Hue card only, but a lot cheaper than you would if you got it from, say, like a UK seller, because it goes for quite a lot of money in the UK. So I'm quite happy with that. The other one is, this is the last one for the PC Engine, is Adventure Island. So this is Hue card only. This is Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, and it's a game that I really, really enjoy playing on the Master System. I haven't got a copy at the moment. I don't know why I didn't buy this. I think it was probably just quite expensive on eBay, and I never quite found one going for the right price. But this is a slightly enhanced version, and the sound's a little bit better if you compare it to a vanilla Master System rather than the Japanese one with the FM unit, which sounds really good. So I'm quite looking forward to playing that. So the last one isn't a PC Engine game, it's Darius 2 on the Mega Drive. So I got Darius Plus on the PC Engine, again, from Replay. from one of the stores. I can't remember what it's called now. And I've got Darius Twin on the Super Famicom, which is for my last Japanese set, which I haven't properly covered. I'll have to do that. I ordered some games before Christmas, and I think I've done Darius Twin, but I've not really looked at the other one, so I'll have to do a similar thing in a few weeks. So yeah, this is Darius 2. I've got this on the Master System, which is Sagaya, and I quite enjoyed it, but having seen Electric Adventures playing this on the Mega Drive, I realised this is actually a lot better looking. I think it's fairly similar to the Saturn version as well, so I'm not sure if I'll end up picking that up, but I'll give this a try. So it's been my birthday yesterday, so I was going to make a video, but I ended up falling asleep. So I had a bit of a cold, you probably tell. So yeah, I got quite a few things, and I'll kind of do this slightly out of order. I got Americana, which is a music CD by a YouTuber that I subscribe to, and he's got a really good channel reviewing prog rock, kind of, if that's your flavour, and he does a few kind of improvisations and kind of bits of music here and there, and he put out an album, and I thought, yeah, it's worth supporting a fellow YouTuber, so I bought that and I've really enjoyed it. It's not really prog, it's more of a it's a concept album. It's more like a soundtrack and a story, but it's a really good album. Yeah, so that came through a few days ago. So my wife bought me Assassin's Creed 4, and I like the Assassin's Creed games. I liked the first one, I really enjoyed that one, and I quite liked 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations, even though they were really just mission packs. They were really good games, but 3 I didn't get on with. I played it all the way through, but I was rushing it at the end. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and I wasn't enjoying it, and it's a bit disjointed. So when 4 came out, I wasn't that interested, but having seen the reviews of it and general feedback, it seems to be more like the older ones. It's a bit more cohesive, so that's something I'm looking forward to playing. And I suppose this is where there really has been a jump between the last video and this one. Resident Evil Revelations, which is a Wii U game, so the next generation machine that I've gone for is the Wii U, and what I decided to do was to trade in a load of old Xbox 360 games and a few bits of hardware here and there, and really just make up most of the difference towards a Wii U. So I got one of those second hand, and I've got this for it. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I've seen it on the 3DS, but I don't really like playing immersive 3D games on a little screen. I find it too small. So I've been looking forward to playing like a classic style Resident Evil game. But I thought a little bit about which next generation machine to buy, and I always end up buying the Nintendo machine as a second console. And I end up getting it second hand in most cases. So what I ended up doing was buying the second machine before I bought the primary next gen or current gen machine. So probably the machine I'll go for, I think, will be a PS4, maybe in a year's time, maybe a little bit less. But I think the game that will decide it is Alien Isolation, because that looks really, really good, and I think it makes good use of the the lighting, shadowing, kind of, and blurring, depth of field stuff in the hardware. And I think that should look really good on the new hardware compared to PS3 and 360. But yeah, the Wii U is a tricky one. I don't think Nintendo is going to abandon it. They won't do, because this is what Sega did. They kept abandoning machines in the 90s, and Nintendo knows this. If they abandon the Wii U, no one will trust them again. It'll just be like the Dreamcast. No one will buy that. Well, very few people buy that machine. So I think it's here to stay. I think what Nintendo, hindsight's 2020, maybe should have made a single machine and made the 3DS plug into the TV. So you've got one platform. You can take your game, play it on the telly, or play it on the 3DS. And whether it's 3D on a proper TV screen, it doesn't really matter too much, because the 2DS isn't 3D anyway. But yeah, I think at the moment, with the 3 consoles, give it a year's time, the PS4, Xbox One will have a really good library of catalogue of games. But I think for the moment, the Wii U has more titles that I want to play, so that's why I went for that. That was a lot of justification. But yeah, so I've been really enjoying the few games that I have on it. I don't see myself buying that many games. There are a few first-party Nintendo ones, and there's a new Donkey Kong, and the Sonic game, and a few others. But I'm not really buying it for multi-platform games. I think I'll save those. I'll either get them on the PS3 or eventually, if the PS4 comes down to a reasonable price and has a load of good games for it, I'll probably go for that. But it's really just the unique Nintendo games, and I'm not really a fan of a lot of Nintendo titles, but there were a lot of good games that came out, particularly on the GameCube, only came out on that machine. So I'm quite looking forward to see if there's anything similar this generation. And I think that's it. Yeah, I don't want to waffle too much, which I've already done. Right, so I'll go on to the gameplay now. Okay, so the first game that I'm looking at here is Adventure Island on the PC Engine, which is really an enhanced version of Wonder Boy 3 from the Master System. So this all looks pretty much the same apart from the title screen. Skip past this. Yeah, the music's fairly similar. Although not massively better. But I think the problem with the Master System is it grates a little bit. Some of the chip tunes, but this is quite good. The sprite for the main character, if I remember correctly, is different, but I think everything else looks the same. And the layout of the castle's pretty much, well, no, not pretty much, it is the same. There should be the big dragon in here. Better put my coffee. That's my fault. Picked up my cup of coffee. If you're quick enough, you never get hit. I haven't played this game since I had my Mega Drive, which, well, originally had the Mega Drive, which would have been 94, I think. But for some reason I never bought it again, despite owning a Master System converter since, 98, 99 I think, when I bought the second Mega Drive. But I never bought this for some reason. So the idea is you start off as Wonder Boy from... I think it follows on from part 2, which was Monster Land. I've only ever played that very, very briefly, so I've never completed it, so I'm not sure that final... Well, the first boss is the final boss from that game, I'm not sure, but I assume it is. But the idea is you get turned into... like is he a dragon or a dinosaur? And you get a certain ability, and the idea is you've got to go around the map, taking advantage of abilities of different characters. So the idea is every boss you defeat, you get turned into a different character. Wait for these blocks to drop. So it's a little bit like Castlevania or Metroid, or Metroidvania if you want to call it that. So at the end you've got to get that, see the key there, or the keyhole rather, you've got to get in there. Yeah, this is looking pretty much identical. I think the sprite for the dragon is a little better, but the backgrounds, I can't tell much difference. Other than the fact that it's all in, what's that? Hiragana it'll be. Which means I can't read it. Okay. There's no skip. So I'll just hit random buttons until something happens. Okay, should be a pig selling me something. Yeah. Password. Okay. Yeah. The Master System version's got a password save on it, and there was a big thing about it on the box. Ah, no! You go down here, there should be a treasure chest. Yeah. So at the beginning of the game, when you start off as Wonder Boy, you get, you know, like a full set of 10 hearts, 12 hearts. But as soon as you've left the castle, you're back down to 1, so you've got to build it up again. I think this one. So if you see these blocks here, I think you've got to be... Is it the lion or is it the mouse? I think the mouse you can climb up walls, and the lion you can break these blocks. So you get keys and things like that. So this should be taking me out to the... it's like a tropical area. Yeah. I really like this tune. There was a song probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, that I'm sure borrowed the melody from this. I remember hearing it and thinking, that's Wonder Boy 3. Ah! Right, I think I'll leave it there. I'm quite happy that I managed to get hold of this, and I think, given the price that the Master System version goes for, I think I've got a better deal here with the PC Engine one. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I don't remember them, you know, there being much text in the game, so I think the fact that it's not in English isn't really a big deal. Okay, so go on. Okay, so this is Momotaro Katsugeki, and I have no idea what the menu options say, so I'm going to assume this is new game. Let's try that one. I did quickly look at a video just to see how this game played a while ago, so I think it's the bottom one you've got to do. That's weird. Oh, the jumping on this is kind of odd. The gravity is a bit like Psycho Fox, because he kind of, there's no real momentum on him, and the jumps are really high. Yeah, what language is that? That'll be Hiragana again, which I can kind of recognise bits of, but not enough to read this. Okay, this looks like we're in the game. Hang on, this theme tune's reminding me of oh, what's it called? His name was Bobby Dingo or something. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure how well this will come out because I'm recording this on a camera which is recording in PAL, and it doesn't give you an option to record in NTSC, and this machine is outputting at 60 Hz. So there might be a few sampling problems, but the game does look very, very smooth on the TV. Yeah, I do like the PC Engine for its graphics, because it's not like the Mega Drive and it's not like the SNES, because the resolution I think is lower than the Mega Drive, so it's more like the Master System, but the colour depth is a lot higher, so it's somewhere in the middle of all of them. Oh, you bugger. Chop, 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 chop. Think. Oh, okay. Oh, go away. This is where not having any momentum on your jumping is bad. Oh, so I was going to say, because you can't chop and jump, but I did. I assume this is going to tell me something, but I'm not going to read it. Yes. What's that? I don't know. Yeah, I've been forcing myself to kind of learn Japanese by playing Japanese games and just remembering little words here and there by translating them by hand. That's me knackered. Right, next one. Okay, this is Final Blaster by Namco. Some of the home versions of games used to have Namco, but I think that's just what they called their home division. But I don't think we really got any of those in the UK. But it's really Namco. This is one of those shoot-'em-ups that I think the first level visually doesn't look that great, but later levels kind of look better. I've seen a few videos of this and the bosses look really good. And I'm going to be really lazy, and because I'm using a TurboGrafx pad that I've wired up to the PC Engine, it's got the auto-fire on it. Oh, hang on. So you can go backwards. So it's a bit like which one is it? Xenon. Thinking. Xenon 2. You can go backwards on it. I've got to learn the attack patterns. I'm not sure what are power-ups and what are enemies at times. Nope, you not got a smart bomb. This is why I kind of gave up a little bit with doing my summer of shoot-'em-ups, because I'd played the PC Engine ones quite a lot, and I knew a bit about the game, and I knew how to play it kind of automatically without thinking too much. But on some of the Mega Drive ones that I'd bought more recently, I hadn't played them before, and I just found it very, very difficult to do an overview of a game that I couldn't play, hadn't played, and couldn't multitask with. Yeah, I'll try and get onto the second level on this, just to see what it's like. Ooh, a bit glitchy there. Whoa. That's quite impressive. Ah! No! 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 Oh well, at least we got to see a boss. Let's try and continue. Yeah. I think the idea with this game is when you finish the level, if you've got more power-ups, then the next level's harder. So I think it scales, so if you've done really badly, the next level gives you a bit more of a chance, something like that. But, right, I'll leave it there with that one. This is meant to be a really good game, so I think I'm not really doing it justice. I'll have to come back to it later on. Okay, this is Gunhead from 1989. I didn't realise it was that old. I thought it was a few years later. Volume's a bit quiet on this one. And you can see why this has got its reputation, because compared to the last game, this does run really, really smooth. But it seems if you get hit once, that's it. It's a bit unfair. I did play this at what was it called? Revival in Wolverhampton last year. I probably got onto the second level. It's quite nice that you've got this sampled speech as well, particularly on a Hue card. Okay, so it seems when you go left and right, some of the weapons kind of fire in the direction that you're firing. Yeah, I don't get why there are so few Japanese copies of this, because it's a compile shooter, and I always thought that compile had a really good reputation and their games sold well, but maybe not. But it really is very, very smooth, and I think this looks better than a lot of Mega Drive shooters. Although not all, clearly. The other game that I've got in, well, it's kind of in this series, but it's not, is the Soldier series. It's Final Soldier. And on the first level, it does look a lot like this. It's quite impressive, but the later levels are not that detailed. And I'm not sure if that's just part of the design or whether it was more of a case that the developers of the game put kind of more memory of the cartridge into the first level. Maybe the later levels are more detailed, but I was not that impressed with that. I kind of bought that thinking that it would be a substitute for this game, but it's not. Has that done it? Some kind of victory music. Take a swig of coffee. Yeah, this... I don't know what it is about this game, but I can see why it's got such a good reputation, because everything's just so slick. I mean, visually, it's not... That's not what's doing it for me. It's something subconscious. It's not... I don't know, I think you feel in control with it. It's not a bullet hell shooter or anything like that. There's almost... I don't know, the attack patterns are kind of like... was it Gallagher or Galaxian? It's the one that was on Ridge Racer 1, the original game, when it was loading. But I think the first time I played it was a dodgy kind of like clone game on the BBC. So instead of being like Gallagher, it was Zalaga. There were, you know, kind of names like Killer Gorilla instead of Donkey Kong. Yeah, I'll try and get onto the boss if I can, and then I'll go on to the last game in the set. Yeah, I think if the PC Engine had have come out in the UK and it had been bundled with Blazing Lasers, I wonder just how well it had sold, because I think even then 2D shooters were still quite popular. If you read early issues of Mean Machines, I think there were too many of them, and I think a lot of Mega Drive owners who imported them kind of 1989, 1990 were importing a lot of 2D shooters, and I think that's why there are so many Japanese copies around in the UK. But I don't know, I'm surprised NEC didn't market this machine at that market. Verb and a noun. Okay, so it seems that it puts you back not the beginning of the level, but it's some kind of checkpointing system. Right, I think I'll leave it there. This obviously is a good game, I don't need to say that, but I think it's one that I'll have to have a lot more practice on in the future. Okay, on to the last game, which is Darius 2. This is on the Mega Drive, and it took... Okay, on to the last game, which is Darius 2. It took me a little while to set this up because I usually have a Mega Drive permanently set up to this LCD, and I've lost my import converter, so I've had to take my 60Hz modded Mega Drive and plug it in there. So as I say, usually I don't like to record at 60 because of the sampling problems, but they'll all be the same, so it won't make any difference. This is a lot harder than the Master System game. That was awful. Let's try again. I do like the sine effect in the background, the sinus effect rather. It's a little bit like the one you get on Thunder Force 3, although it's a lot faster on there. Ooh, they're a bit vicious. They break formation. Yeah, I wasn't very good at the SNES game either, Darius Twin, which is... I don't know if it's a sequel to this or whether it's meant to be kind of like a home sort of sequel, because I don't think that had an arcade port, but this is based on the arcade game, which, if I remember correctly, has a widescreen on it. I think the Saturn version lets you keep that. Ugh! There we go. No mistake in the game, there's a giant fish. Oh. I lost my shield. I want to at least get onto the boss. I'm really doing quite badly on it. This is the problem of playing, particularly shoot 'em ups you haven't played before. It's just impossible to show any kind of depth of the game because you can't get more than a few minutes in. So I've got quite a few more on the Mega Drive and SNES that I bought after making that initial video where I showed all the shoot 'em up games. Alright, one more go. But I don't really want to show show them and just keep dying all the time. So I think these few are kind of exceptions. Okay, one more go. I'll try and play it properly this time. Okay, so that's sped up my rate of fire. I think one thing that is different from the Master System version, apart from having bigger sprites, they're a lot more... two things. One is they're a lot smoother. There's a lot less slowdown in the game, although there is a little bit. But they don't flicker. And I think that was a bit of a problem with the Master System version. The sprites were a little bit flickery here and there. And of course the music's better. I think that's always the difficulty of having games on multiple platforms. Often if one is just the same game but better on another platform or visually better, you're not going to play the older one. Right, I thought I'd just try and play the game through a little bit before getting onto the boss, which is what should be appearing. I'm not sure what to expect, because the Master System went black and it used that trick of using kind of like background tiles as the boss to stop it flickering. But I assume this is more like the arcade. In a way it looks... I wouldn't say it looks less impressive, but the sprite's obviously a lot smaller than the Master System one because of that. Because it is a sprite and, well, multiple sprites rather than a background. Yeah. So I assume you get to choose your direction on this. Yeah, okay. Let's do C. If I remember correctly, it's just like Outrun, where the bottom ones are harder and the top ones are easier, I think. Yeah, you can really tell on this where the Mega Drive is suffering from its low colour palette. So I've played a little bit of Darius Plus on the PC Engine, and I think it looks better than this. The sprites, just backgrounds, all seem to have a little bit more colour in them, but this is, you can tell with the Mega Drive a few kind of backgrounds that look a little bit, you know, 3 colours or whatever they're using for that red stuff. It's meant to be rock, I think. Yeah, so I do have 2 lives, so it does kind of show that when you kind of talking crap and play games, it's really, oh yeah, proof point. It really is a lot harder to not die like that. Right, so I think that's it. That's the last game of the set. So I'd probably say about half of these are 2D shoot 'em ups for the Mega Drive and PC Engine. Right, I'll definitely leave it there, and there's quite a few more games to keep me busy. So thanks for watching.